Hello, I'm Evan Frickner,
I am Lily Wallace,
I'm Ryan Sconzo,
and we are reporters for the Roaring Eagle.
here at the Clover School District office today.
to interview School District Board of Trustees members along with district administrators about impact fees.
So today we are going to talk to Dr. Quinn about the new impact fees. What are impact fees and what exactly is the district asking of York County?
So an impact fee is the concept of growth paid for growth, and you're going to hear that a lot. The concept is around when you have new families who move to our school district in particular, it looks at where those families are moving. Are they moving to a single family home? Are they moving to an apartment or a townhome? Or are they moving to a mobile home? And a mathematical figure is calculated based on the number of students who move into the different home types. And then what happens is the district then talks about the impact of that growth, and they look at schools they need to build because of the number of students moving here out of each home. And an impact fee is generated from that, the impact of students moving in and what you have to build based on that. So our impact fee looks at a high school, an elementary school, it looks at land that we have to buy to build future schools, and it looks at activity buses because the state doesn't provide activity buses. That's a capital expense that the district has to buy.
So why specifically?
Well, it's important now because we are in the process, we're in a 10-year study of what we're having to build. It's called our capital improvement plan, and we're 5 years into it. So 5 years ago, we applied for an impact fee with the county. We did receive an impact fee, and that impact fee was for the high school, the elementary school, the buses, and the land. So we are now at the place where that impact fee has to be revised. It has to be reviewed, because if you don't still need the things that you're building, then you wouldn't need an impact fee. We still need all of those things. We're still building all of those things. And in fact, they're coming in over cost. And so we really want to continue the impact fees so that we can continue to have a funding source and not have to ask our taxpayers to pay that overage in cost.
So what are the expectations given the council's reduction of the proposed fee amount?
The impact fee is determined by a study that is done by a company that's not from here. So a company comes in, an independent study, and they look at the number of pupils per home. They generate a fee per home, and what we qualify for, so it's not a number we picked, it's a number of what the district qualifies for. The maximum allowable for this year was over $21,000. The maximum allowable for a home in 2020, when we first got our study, was $15,000. And a little bit more than that, but we're going to say 15 to keep it even. We made the case we did not want to go for the 21 because we're still building the same schools that we proposed 5 years ago. So we've asked the county council to provide the maximum allowable at $15,014 for a single family home, $7,419 for a multifamily home, and $9,828 for a mobile home. That's the maximum allowable from the 2020 that we're asking to continue forward in this study.
We're here with Mr. Ken Love, our District Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you, Evan. I'm glad to be here. How can I help you?
How much has the district collected from the original impact fee, and how does that compare with the total impact fee dollars that could have been collected if the maximum allowed fee was given in 2021?
Well, so far since we started in January of 21, we have collected $5,687,702. And to that, we have added about $600,000 of interest to give us about $6.4 million to spend on our schools. If we had had the full amount that we had requested, we could have collected $21,349,953.
How does a district, any district, pay for new schools if impact fees are not approved?
It falls back to the district to raise the appropriate money for construction, which in most cases would mean borrowing money through bonds and tax anticipation notes in order to pay for the construction cost.
What type of reporting is required to document spending of the funds?
I send a copy of each invoice that's approved by the construction management company and the architect to the county in order to draw down the impact fee funds.
And I'm with Dr. Mark Hopkins, Chief Operations Officer. Why are additional impact fees needed at this point?
Probably the biggest issue is the rising construction costs that have happened or occurred since we began the process. In 2019, we initially began the process of planning for a second high school, and this building plan, and that original estimate was $142 million to build the school. When we passed the second bond, that estimate was $142 million. And now the final cost we're looking at is about $189 million. So we've been able to, through some financing decisions with Mr. Love, cover some of these costs, but we still have some costs that are ahead of us, we believe, not only in construction, but also in some other things we outlined in the impact fee report, such as activity buses, potential future land for a 9th elementary school.
What type of cost can be covered by the fees? Are vehicles allowable expenses?
Yes, the law reads that any vehicle that's necessary for those needs that has a minimum $100,000 price is eligible to be paid for with impact fee. So a school bus, the average cost on a new school bus is about $142,000. That's equipped like we need them to be equipped.
I'm here with Miss Jessica Cody, a Clover School District Board of Trustees member. When the fee was reduced 5 years ago, that obviously resulted in lost revenue. What is the expected amount to be lost if the fee is reduced?
So if the fee is reduced to the $7,000 that the council has stated in a recent board meeting, we would lose approximately $10 million in revenue versus if we got the $15,000 per single family that we are asking for. This is because, and I've taken some notes, so I'm kind of referring back to my numbers to make sure I get them correct. But we've have already approved in the county 298 multifamily homes and 1,124 single-family residences that are already approved that we could potentially get impact fees from.
So some local home builders and realtors are concerned that their business will be impacted. How will they be impacted?
So it's tough to say. The main thing that impacts price points of homes can be taxes. It can be how good a school district is. So if our school district, if we're having to raise taxes because we are not able to get money from something like an impact fee, that can have a negative effect on home prices. If we have a fantastic school district and we're able to, continue to build what we need to build, keep our students and staff, in the best school district possible, that has a very positive influence on home prices in the area.
There has been some talk about the upcoming completion of the Two Kings Casino, which will open right across our border in Kings Mountain. With the growth that will be caused in the service industry and in that area, is there a concern that the growth for the Kings Mountain will spill over into the western region of Clover?
We've heard a lot about that recently. I actually live out in the area, so I live in the western side of the district on 161. The casino is not far from me. There's always that possibility. It's currently going up. If you go down 85, you can see that it's getting finished quickly. And they will be bringing in employees. People will be coming here. They may want to live near a casino. They may want to work for the casino and live here. And obviously, South Carolina is a great draw because of our wonderful school district right across the line and because of low taxes. So that is always a concern for us, people moving in. There's a lot of land out in my area that people could potentially sell. That impact will affect our schools, especially the Bethany area, Clover Middle School area. So that's always something we're keeping our eye on. And again, the draw is here because of how wonderful our school district is. That is why I believe growth should pay for growth. And, that's just my opinion.
I'm here with Miss Kenda Cook, Board of Trustees member. At the meeting and in social media, there are some who are concerned that long-time residents who have already had land would be required to pay the fee. Is there a way to waive fees for residents who already have property here and are not moving into the area?
Legally, there is no way to do that. I have found that out through learning about the impact fees. Being a longtime resident of Clover, we also are on family land and have had the opportunity to give our children some land. So I understand the idea of not having to have your children pay for impact fees. But on the other hand, I understand about our growth in our district. As I sit on the board, I see the importance of the impact fee. And I know that even though it might be a little questionable, it's something that the impact fee plan does, and that will help us as a district.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm with Mr. Mike Ballard. Based on some comments made by members of council last week, it appeared that there have been some preliminary discussions regarding the topic prior to the meeting. Do you believe council members had already made up their minds to vote against the proposal?
I do. It does seem like that they've had some prior conversations. I would hope that those conversations were just preliminary and that they're still going to take input from the public. I'm a little concerned that, Fort Mill has been given their impact fees twice now. And I'm concerned that there are Fort Mill council members that have voted themselves impact fees, but it seems like they've already made their mind up about Clover's, and I would like to hope that they're going to take public input into their final decision.
I'm with Mr. Rob Wallace, Clover School District Board of Trustees Chairman. Sir, do impact fees apply only to new construction?
Yes, impact fees are only for new construction and they're paid at the time of permitting. So if you have, if you're redoing a house or if you're buying a house that is already built, you do not pay an impact fee.
And are the fees retroactive?
No, they're not retroactive. They are pulled at the time of permit. So if you have a permit, and there will be no fees going back towards your permit that you already had, existing ones. It will only be from new ones that are pulled in the county.
I'm with Matt Burris. Mr. Burris, higher taxes are an obvious concern for many residents. What can you tell us about the board's approach to minimizing impact on taxpayers while ensuring the needs of the school district are met?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, what you just said is it's important to reiterate that we as a board, our goal is always to keep taxes as low as possible while still being able to provide the educational experience that the folks in Clover have come to expect. So first and foremost, that is always top of mind for us. I think in order to understand how we do that, you have to understand that there are three methods that the state gives us to generate funds in school districts. The first one I think everybody in Clover is probably a little too familiar with are bonds. We all went through a pretty contentious bond campaign to build Lake Wiley High School. Fortunately, that passed, and we're excited about it. So a bond is certainly, it's just like a loan that we would take out and pay back with a little interest, and then once those are paid off, they roll off, right? The second is a millage increase, and that gives us the ability to raise taxes on property in the school district. That's available to us. The caveat there is that in 2008, the state passed a law called Act 388, which exempted homeowners, their primary residences, from paying school operations taxes. So obviously that lowered the amount of money quite a bit. And what happened there as a result is that our local business owners share a lot of the burden for paying those taxes and those millage rates. And then of course the third method is what we're talking about now, which are impact fees. That, in our opinion, is the easiest and certainly most appropriate way to collect a fee from those that are moving here. And again, you'll hear this 100 times, but growth paying for growth. That is the most clear-cut answer to us. And then I think it's important to note too that our current bond millage in the Clover School District is 46 mills. That has been and continues to be the lowest in York County. We plan to keep it that way as long as we can, and these impact fees would go a long way in helping.
I'm with Mr. Kieran Meeks. We've heard much discussion about the fact that Fort Mill received $30,000 or more for their impact fees, and the York School District was denied an impact fee. Why do you believe there's a differentiation between the districts?
Well, thanks for having me. Good to see you today. So I guess I'm really not sure why we're being treated differently or why we're not, being afforded the same advantages as Fort Mill has been afforded when it comes to impact fees, and neither York, was able to get the impact fees. But all the districts in our county are great, and so we just want to be afforded the same advantages. I think there's been some talk about the demographics in Lake Wiley. I think it's really the same kind of different demographics in Lake Wiley from the Fort Mill side. And so there's been some talks around not being able to afford it in the Lake Wiley side, but all of the growth is on the Lake Wiley side. And so we feel like, the Lake Wiley side can afford it, the growth, so that growth pays for growth. Also, schools cost the same. I mean, there's not a significant change in costs from building a school in Lake Wally versus building a school in Fort Mill. And so really not sure, but I'm hoping that we can persuade or sway the county to approve the impact fees that we've requested.